Hey everybody, this is Ray Halstead and your CFO, Andrew McMillan. Today we want to talk about the 5 questions that Andrew asks every new CFO client. Andrew, what are those 5 questions?
Yeah, so when I'm meeting with a new client, I'm trying to get to know their business. I'm trying to get to know their processes, their procedures, how the business is going. But really, the first question I ask is like, what are your monthly revenues? Hopefully, every small business owner knows what their monthly revenues are. If they don't, that's kind of an indicator of some other things as well. But I want to understand what your monthly revenues are. Are they consistent? Are there any trends? Some seasonality to your revenues, because that's really the baseline that helps us start looking forward. A lot of the CFO is not only like looking at what's happened historically, but like what do we feel like is going to happen in the future and how can we make that better and plan for that. So understanding your revenues, understanding the seasonality of that, if there is any, helps us kind of create a baseline to start making some further decisions off of.
And number 2 is?
Well, understanding the revenues, and kind of leads you into the next question naturally of like, how much of that are you actually keeping? Revenues are great and awesome, but how much of that are you actually, putting into your pocket at the end of the month? What's your net profit for the month? What are your gross margin? What are your percentages? Like, how much of this is truly translating to more revenue for you personally, or more income for you personally? So I try to start unpacking, how does the client, like, you have these revenues, but are you always tight on cash flow? Are you always struggling to make payroll, make debt payments? How much of that are you actually keeping? So that's kind of the next question we always like to go over.
Okay. How about number 3?
The third one is really, it's like, what's stressing you out financially? We all have different stressors and pain points in life. And for small business owners, the finances oftentimes is one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle that is stressing them out. So I like to get an idea of like, what are their pain points? What are the things that they're having trouble navigating through? What are some things that some things they want to bounce off of me? I want to get an idea of like what's really stressing them out, because I have my own agenda coming into these meetings, but I also want to make sure that it lines up with what their agenda is, what they're wanting, what they need out of these meetings. So I wanted to get an idea of what's keeping them up at night.
And number 4?
Number 4, kind of alluded to it earlier. A lot of times we want to be forward looking here in the CFO service offering. So like, what big decisions are you wrestling with or thinking about doing like later down the road? Like, what do you have coming down the line? A lot of times I like to look at, what 6 months from now, 8 months from now, 12 months from now, 18 months from now, where are you wanting to get? And what are those big decisions that you need to start making to try to get to those goals? So that's where the next thing we start talking about is like, once we understand your revenues, understand how much of that is profit for you, understanding what some of your pain points are right now, then it helps us better kind of plan how to achieve some of these future goals, some of these other big decisions that you might have, coming down the pipeline to help you grow your business.
And number 5?
Number 5 is really just like, what does success look like for you? I've talked about it a little bit, but like, what do you want to get out of this program? As I said, I kind of have my own set agenda that I bring into every meeting to help clients grow, help them be more financially secure and have more stability there. But, success looks different for everyone. So getting an idea of how the client views success for them, maybe that's being more financially secure. Maybe that's getting them out of the process a little bit more to where they're working on the business and not so much in the business, giving them more of a little bit of a quality of life there. So it's really understanding what success looks like for them, what they truly want to get out of the program, so that we can cater it to meet their individual needs.
Well, those are really good questions, Andrew. So curious, why those 5?
Well, it helps put it in perspective. It helps blend, how the client's perspective of things are going versus the financial data of how things are going on paper. It helps blend the two together and help us give a clearer picture of where to go to moving forward. So asking those questions really gets the client talking, gets them talking about their business, and helps lead us in the direction of where to steer the plan going forward.
Well, that's really good information, Andrew. If you're a small business owner and you feel like some of these questions, are things that you would like to go over with somebody about, just feel free to give us a call and we will help you out. Thanks.